Hello everyone, my name's Andrew.
Hello everyone, my name is Mario.
And today we're going to teach you how to install a kill switch.
Okay everyone, so for today's procedure, you're going to need all of these tools. You're going to need a blade, wire strippers, Phillips screwdriver, an 11mm socket, a 10mm socket with a ratchet, a Dremel, a soldering iron, electrical tape, lead for the soldering iron, electrical wiring, 2 extras just in case, a fancy multimeter, a battery tester, and of course, our kill switch. And before anything else, ladies and gentlemen, you have to make sure you remove this negative terminal or else you're gonna get fried. Right now, Andrew's using the 10mm socket to remove it, loosen it, and pop. Make sure it's somewhere we won't touch anywhere else. And now we can proceed to the good stuff. The most important thing when it comes to looking for your fuel pump relay, you have to make sure you use your owner's manual, or if you're not fortunate to have it, you can just look up online, and it's pretty easy to find. Luckily for us though, Andrew still had his original 300ZX manual, and we were able to find out that it was behind the plastic where the dead pedal sits, right on this area. So now what's left is to take out these 2 screws, and we're on to the next step.
So after removing any necessary interior plastic, for this particular car you will need an 11mm socket to remove these 2 bolts that hold in the bracket.
And once removed, the bracket comes off, and voila, there's our fuel pump relay. Now, as we have the fuel pump relay here, once Andrew turns the car on ignition, we're going to hear a little vibration.
So now that we've located the fuel pump relay, we're going to disconnect it so we can probe the pins to find which wire is hot. So as you can see, we've located a hot wire on the fuel pump relay connector.
And as we found our hot wire, it's this color branded one that's white and black. So this is the one that we have to cut exactly. So what I did right now was cut off a bit of the harness to expose more of the wire itself, so I can cut dead center. Because you never want to cut on the end of the plug of the relay itself, because then you're completely screwed. And in case you mess up, you can always go a little more farther up.
So you only get one chance to do this, unless you want to order a new wiring harness. So be sure to keep enough room and cut back far enough away from the connector. Some people get scared, but you just got to build up confidence and go for the cut.
And now Andrew will strip the wire to expose the copper. It might be a little doozy to get to, but once you just cut it, and it'll pull straight off. Just like that. Now he will do the next thing for the second one. This will be exactly where we're going to splice in the kill switch. Of course, we're not going to show you exactly where we have our kill switch, because that would be counterproductive, wouldn't it, Andrew?
Oh yeah, I don't need anyone stealing my car.
Sorry everybody, maybe next time. With both wires exposing their copper, we're going to be able to install our blue electric wire and a black electric wire, one to stand for ground and one to stand for positive, and we'll be right back. You grab it on this end, make a little X, and you start turning it and turning until you know they're together. Once the ends are together, you're going to get your soldering tool and your iron, and your lead, I'm sorry. You're going to start going just like this. You'll notice that the lead is being melted by the soldering iron, and this allows it to seal them together. It might take a while if you're not really comfortable doing it to get it down. You just want to make sure you can get the lead onto the copper. you'll notice that the iron itself is melting, the lead, and fusing with the copper itself. It's gonna look kind of goofy. I'm not gonna lie to you, it doesn't come out perfect every time. And the most important thing as well, you want to make sure you don't breathe this in. Now we do the same for the next bit. You do an X, wrap around, and make sure the copper's together. As I said earlier, you know, both of them are going to come out the same unless you're really, really good. Hence the word for this one. So once this one is nice and wrapped together, you want to make sure the copper is end on end. You're going to grab your fancy dancy soldering iron. Soldering iron, I mean. And you're just going to rinse and repeat. You notice how the lead itself is melting faster? It's because the soldering iron is actually really hot. It's been a good minute since we started. You notice how it's just forming to where I want it to. Now we're gonna turn it around. And we're gonna commit this. We got that bit again. Okay. Perfect. And we're gonna start here. You're gonna make sure you cover just about everything. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just enough to where you'll be comfortable, not it won't catch on fire. And you're gonna form the lead right around the copper. Now, for extra safety, we always have to use electrical tape, and there really is no best way to do it. I've always heard just make it as tight as you can and hope for the best. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. You're gonna make sure they're both in together. You're gonna turn it, and you wanna make sure it falls in tight. Repeat again, tight. All the way in.
Yeah, without the electrical tape, you run the risk of it touching the frame or any other exposed piece of metal on the car and grounding out.
And the last thing you want is to have your car not run because somebody couldn't put electrical tape. Just a little word of caution. You know, we're not backyard mechanics here.
We're in the front yard.
Exactly. And there you go.
So at this point, Mario's mounting the kill switch in its secret location, which we're not going to show for obvious reasons, because then it'd be redundant. So after mounting our kill switch, we've ran the wire underneath the carpet of the floor of the car. Now have connected it to the wire coming out of the backside of the fuel pump relay connector. And as you can see, we're just soldering these ends like we did with the kill switch. And then we'll continue by wrapping them in more electrical tape. And then from there, we'll stick all the wires back in and replace the interior plastic.
You want to make sure you even it out. You might have a little bit of lumps, but you can play with it, melt it, and just drag it up or down depending on what direction you're going. Just as long as you make sure you have the copper ends connected correctly, so you don't have no open fuse, you know, as we learned earlier this semester. please, I will repeat again. As I saw earlier, I kind of flinched because I got burned. So please be careful when doing this. Okay. Go. Now we have Andrew on the end of the soldering iron. And he's doing an excellent job making sure it's right there. It happens.
I don't know about that.
As we're gonna mention over and over again, do this with someone you feel comfortable with. This isn't something you have to do to feel impressed. You know, just for more protection, privacy, and of course, keeping your car in one piece. Now with all the soldering and the tape all together placed in, we're gonna place the bracket holding the fuel pump relay back in. Now with everything's all connected and easy to go, Andrew's now installing his plastic dead pedal back on to cover all the unneeded to be seen components. And it's tied around with just a few screws, tying everything back together, and bam, good to go.
We don't have the screws because the car didn't come with it. But you would put the screws back.
And we managed. We are now putting the screws back together straight from our side panel. And yes, it is a little side panel, plastic bit right here. We would have run our wire, you know, secretly from one place to another. I really hate not to show you guys it, but it happens.
Defeats the purpose.
That's true. Defeats the purpose. Now once this last screw is in, we're going to connect the battery. Make sure everything's nice and tight, and we're going to see how it goes. Make sure you use protection. Clearly I didn't.
Yeah, where are your gloves at?
They ripped in the process of soldering. Nice and tight. Check for any twist, and we're good to go. Okay, Andrew, you mind turning it on? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I wonder what we're gonna do now if the car doesn't turn on.
I'm not stealing this car.
How about now? You try it now. Wow. Beautiful! Well, everyone, we hope you enjoyed a little demonstration on how to put a kill switch. We know there were some bits that were cut, and, you know, we had to cut them just for the safety of Andrew's car, his privacy, and, of course, safety. But we really hope you all enjoyed.
Thanks for watching. And again, my name's Andrew.
My name's Mario. And we're out.
See you.